was wondering if you could tell me what themes you like to invest in. What's your sweet spot?
So one of the things about thinking about themes is you have to embrace change, because themes change, sectors change,
Yes.
sectors emerge. And so right now I'm very interested in communications infrastructure, which is essentially wireless these days, and applications that are associated with that. I love the mobile sector. I'm particularly interested in mobile platforms and mobile payments, advertising, that type of thing.
And that's really booming.
It is booming, actually,
yeah.
And so we've seen obviously huge growth in mobile telephony throughout the world, and in particular the smartphone growth is generating a whole new set of applications and platforms. And also some of the new tablets as well, iPads and so on, which is really sort of a whole new category, and I think that's very exciting.
Yes.
And then some consumer applications as well.
Great. And does the Mayfield Fund have a certain category that they invest in? Or you said that the themes change. Would they sort of dictate that, or is each venture capitalist able to identify their sweet spot here?
Well, what's really important for us as VCs obviously is to stay close to what is happening in the marketplace and stay close to technology innovations, and so we're always trying to stay on top of that. But we invest as a firm across most of the sectors, from infrastructure, software, through to consumer internet, digital media, so really across the board. We don't invest in biotech or medical, but we have recently started a clean tech practice.
Brilliant, thank you. What would you look for in women entrepreneurs and startups that indicate interest to you in investing in their businesses?
Well, we look for the same in women in many respects as we do in men, essentially. So when we're looking at a new business, we like to look at big markets, and I think most VCs would say that, we're really looking for a big opportunity.
Yes.
Because we're really looking for businesses that will evolve and develop and really make a difference. And if a company makes a difference, then it becomes most often a valuable company, and that's what we're looking at. So we're really looking at something that we can build over time. We look where it makes sense for defensible technologies. Now, sometimes in the consumer internet world, there's not so much technology, and you're therefore looking more at the idea, the defensibility of it. You're always looking for good teams, the ability to recruit additional team members. So it's really important for us to invest in people that have good networks. I would say domain expertise is really important. And increasingly today, the ability to execute. So if you have a really great idea, it can scale very quickly. So you really need a team that can execute and make things happen and be very efficient and effective.
And would you be more interested in women entrepreneurs who are technical? This seems to be a point that people are talking about at the moment, that we need more women technical founders.
Well, certainly I think we want to encourage more women in technology, and I have a young daughter now, so I'm really sort of encouraging her in math and science and things like that, and I think there are a lot of us women who are trying to do that.
Fantastic.
And sometimes I think that's a confidence sort of issue, but certainly, we're in such a great place here in Silicon Valley with Stanford and Berkeley and so on, and there are a ton of women who are very involved in the technical field, so we do want that. We do want women to be as innovative as men, right?
Yes.
But I don't think you have to be a pure technology-centric person in terms of your discipline to be a great entrepreneur, but you do have to have, I think, some domain expertise in what you're doing. So we are seeing, for example, now more women in the internet sector as e-commerce is taking a whole new life. You've seen deals like Groupon and so on.
Yes.
And so we're seeing more women in those areas, and they do have expertise. It may not be that they're great technologists, but they do understand the domain, and they do understand how to leverage the internet and the new technologies. So you may not need to develop that technology, but you need to know how to leverage it and use it.
That's really reassuring for us non-technical co-founders. I guess as long as we've got a technical co-founder on board, then that's sort of helpful.
I sometimes think that we don't think enough about the team. You don't have to be everything.
Yes.
I think that you need to look at yourself as as a person, as an executive, as an entrepreneur, and think, what value can I add here? And then really build a great team around you.
That's fantastic feedback. Thank you. Advice for pitching for venture is often correlated with dating, and as you know, my background is the online dating industry. I wonder what sort of chemistry that you may have identified that makes a good match and is a success for both entrepreneur and venture capitalists.
You've probably heard this before, but VCs don't like blind dates.
Oh, no, I haven't heard that before, so quote unquote, we'll put that under your name.
Yeah, so one of the things that we would always encourage people to do, first of all, I think it's very important that the entrepreneur, really has enough confidence in themselves to believe that they can select the venture capitalist as well, and so I would encourage them to do a lot of research in terms of looking at the type of firm and the type of partner that they believe would be a good match for them. So it might be you're looking at prior investments in terms of stage or sector, or indeed people that you've been referred to from other entrepreneurs. When you're here in this area, it's not hard to get to know someone who knows someone. So the way to get to the VC you want to get to is really through an introduction.
Right.
So that's what I would encourage people to do. The other thing I would encourage is if you're putting together your presentation for a venture capital firm, have some informal meetings first. Might be with that venture capitalist. Say, I've got an idea, I've not quite worked it out totally yet, but I'd like to get some thoughts from you. Or use an advisor or two. I mean, there are so many people here in this industry who want to help discover the next new company, and they'll help you put the pitch together. The pitch is really important. Mm-hmm. So often we get entrepreneurs come into us and the pitch is really not quite together, and it needs to capture you very quickly. So it really has to have a well thought out positioning. So sometimes people come into us and they'll present and say, well, the idea is a little bit of that, and it's a little bit of this, and there's a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and we're sort of, well, what is this? So really think through the presentation and make it very, very sharp, informative. I think it's very clear that everybody knows that there are going to be risks and investments. So be open and honest about what you know and what you don't know, and what you have to do to make this business successful.
That's an interesting point, because I have gotten feedback from some venture capitalists who say that sometimes women aren't so bold and will tend to present all those issues in a more transparent way. And obviously a lot of VCs appreciate that, but sometimes that can also set women entrepreneurs back, because they are almost like presenting the problems right at the very start, rather than possibly some male entrepreneurs might come in and just be brash and bold and not really, and gloss over that sort of thing. How do you feel about that personally?
Well, I think that women tend not to be as you put it, so brash and so bold, but you also see other cultures are maybe not that way either. And if you look at the types of people that we invest in today, we invest in founders from the USA, we invest in founders from India, we invest in founders from Israel, we invest in founders from China. So all these different cultures have different approaches to investing, and I would certainly encourage a confidence about what you invest, and that confidence comes from knowing what you're talking about. So really understanding the domain is really important. So when I sort of talk about being transparent about the issues, you still have to show the other side. So there's a balance here. So it needs to be a balanced pitch. So I think it's really important to show the opportunity and how you can achieve it, but also show what you have to do to make it happen. Right. One of the things I would say that is often an issue for entrepreneurs when they're presenting is they'll present lots of market data up front, and we've probably seen it about 20 times, because we don't just see one mobile pitch, or one internet pitch. So you can summarize the market data, because we've seen the Gartner data and the IDC data many times. So if you start your pitch with 20 slides on that, then we're off thinking about something
we've lost
else. You have to capture the attention. The first 3 slides really make a difference. And also if you're presenting an application where you can demonstrate something, demonstrate it. That really is something that gets our juices flowing.
Great. Yes, I've seen that too. Thank you. In your experience, are there many women entrepreneurs that are unsuccessful in sourcing venture? We already know that the percentages of women who are successful are very low. I think between 8 to 10% have been the latest figures. I'm not sure whether or not you have any awareness about the lack of success of women entrepreneurs.
I don't have any data, but I have been involved most recently in the last couple of years with Illuminate Ventures, which is being started by Cindy Padnos, and
Yes.
she is focusing this firm on really trying to attract female founders and entrepreneurs, CEOs and so on. And the reason that she's doing this is because she's seen that there is, less women, there are less women attracting venture capital. And I think to some extent that it's a matter of confidence in some ways. So first of
Okay.
all, we haven't quite seen the deal flow from female entrepreneurs. I mean, there's no reason why we shouldn't see more women coming through these doors looking for us to source their companies.
Right.
I do think VCs are generally open to diversity. Now,
Right.
some women have told me they have been asked questions about commitment, family, time, and all those sorts of things, but I think it's rare.
Okay.
I think it's in many instances an issue of deal flow and an issue of confidence.
Okay.
And to my mind, what I would encourage women to do, as I encourage men to do, really, is to have a really thought out business plan. Really show you understand your domain. Really bring together a great team. And do the research on the venture capital firms that you want to approach and that you feel comfortable with. Really leverage your network. And these days there are, as you're aware, many people out there who've been successful who are angels or even super angels,
Yes.
and they're looking to help jumpstart some of these early companies. But network with those too. Don't just look at venture capitals. Build together a group of people around you that can really add value and give you that confidence and help you make the introductions to the people who you think will be a good fit for you. And I think once you do that prep work, you can
Yes.
feel more confidence in coming in and pitching your deal.
Yes, that's a great plan.